Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on Fanofa Street on Go TV channel 125, DSTV channel 421. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, President Akufo-Addo hints at rigorous expenditure rationalization and prudent spending as government strategizes to meet conditions set by the IMF to access the second tranche of the IMF bailout in 6 months.
The rationalization of our expenditures, the rationalization of government expenditures is something that we have given the assurance. The domestic revenue mobilization is absolutely critical for us. Already we're beginning to see signs of that.
Well, with the IMF deal out of the way, the president says Ghana will soon go to the international market to borrow. Also this afternoon, the government says it will review its flagship programs as it opens up to the IMF on its readiness to publish a strategy to determine the future of all flagship programs, including the free SHS policy. Stay with us for more on this, plus some analysis. And later on, Climate Focus will put the spotlight on farming palm weevil for food security and climate change mitigation. Details plus business, showbiz and world news coming up shortly. My name is Afriyie. Do stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. President Akufo-Addo says the government is undertaking rigorous expenditure rationalization and prudent spending to meet conditions set by the International Monetary Fund in order to access the second tranche of the bailout in 6 months. The IMF board last week approved Ghana's request for a $3 billion bailout, resulting in the release of the first $600 million to the Bank of Ghana. But subsequent releases will be hinged on Ghana meeting certain conditions set by the fund, which includes improvement in domestic revenue mobilization. In an interaction session at the ongoing Qatar Economic Forum, the president said the government is very aware of its obligations and will live up to it.
The rationalization of our expenditures, the rationalization of government expenditures is something that we have given the assurance. The domestic revenue mobilization is absolutely critical for us. Already we're beginning to see signs of that. We are the fiscal deficit to come back within the thresholds that we have a law, a fiscal responsibility law in Ghana, which has pegged our fiscal deficits at 5% at the moment is way above that. And the sooner we can bring that again to a more acceptable threshold, the better it is for our economy. So these are all several areas of activity that we see as being absolutely essential for the future of our country.
How concerned are you that, Ghana next year has an election, you'll be leaving office. Are you concerned, considering inflation right now is north of 40%, there's already a lot that Ghanaians are enduring, that this could potentially hurt your party going into the next election?
I think that the global situation has not been kind to incumbent governments all over the world, and our situation will be no different. But at the same time, I believe that we have enough time. We have 18 months. I leave office in January 25, which is literally 18 months, 19 months from now, to be able, with a very disciplined approach to the implementation of the IMF program, the repositioning of our economy, to be able to bring some growth back into the economy, some relief back to our population, to be able to convince them that yes, it's worth them continuing the journey with my party and the new leader of our party, who we'll choose in November this year.
Until the IMF bailout last week, Ghana had been locked out of the international market, but the policy credibility provided by the fund means reopening of the market to Ghana. But despite the risk of further piling of debt, President Akufo-Addo says Ghana will go to the market to borrow.
We went in July last year.
Right.
And it has taken us July to May to secure a program. We had a staff level agreement with the fund in December.
Right.
It's a relatively quick period. And finally in May, we've secured the fund.
What do you
And
attribute the delays to?
I think it's the usual negotiations with the IMF. They take time. And in fact, the 10 months which has been involved in the Ghanaian program is one of the fastest on record. There's a whole lot of stuff that you have to go through in terms of exchange of data, the negotiations, making sure that the macro indices that you are looking for are in the right direction. All of these are the ones that consume the time. But nevertheless, it's over. And now we believe that it is going to provide us with a foundation for redirecting the economy, repositioning the Ghanaian economy, firstly, to regain the macro stability that had been lost. Secondly, to be able to have a better control over important data like interest rates, inflation. And then finally also to position us to be able to go back into the international capital market, which had been a source of funding for us for the first 3 or 4 years of our government.
Well, still on the IMF, the government says it is also taking necessary steps to review all existing flagship programs as part of its objective to strengthen fiscal policy. This is contained in the IMF's May 2023 country report on Ghana. One of the flagship programs, Free SHS, has already been described by the fund as poorly targeted, with the country's education system producing poor learning outcomes. My colleague Isaac Kwabena has been studying that report and shares with us what informed government's decision and the status of the flagship programs.
With respect to this flagship programs that we're talking about, government has been given some updates in the report, the May 2023 report on Ghana. So according to government, and I'm stating this, I'm quoting what government said, they said they are taking steps to review all, flagship programs.
Okay.
And the last time we checked...
That's an instruction from the IMF?
Well, it is government's own
advice
policy to achieve fiscal, discipline or the fiscal...
To meet IMF requirements.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we checked from the 2023 budget to see the number of flagship programs that government currently has. It's been varying if you compare year on year. So when we checked, we found 16 of them, including the Free SHS, One District, One Factory, the 1D1F, and then also the current one, which is, the hospitals across all, districts. So the government is saying it is taking steps to review. And if you say all programs, then it means we are including a Free SHS as well, because they did not exclude any program. It stated categorically that all programs. And so we also did some small checks, and we saw that if you look at these 16 flagship programs that we're talking about, government has actually projected that this year it is going to spend some 9.6 or a little over 9 billion Ghana cedis on it, which is more than $900 million. So you ask yourself, is it resource constrained, or is it that some of these programs we do not need them again, or what is it going to be in terms of reviews? I think last year, 2022, the figure was around the same amount. So it's been varying, but on the average, it's around $8 billion a year. So we need to pump $8 billion every year to make sure that we have all of these, flagship programs running.
Do we know how much we need to reduce spending on these flagship programs to be able to meet the IMF requirements?
Well, so we do not have the specific figure, but what we know is that in 2023, there's a huge budget deficit for government to fund.
We can now go on Zoom and speak with the National Coordinator of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, Bernice and Patriotic, for more. I'm grateful for your time, Madam. Your organization was among a number of CSOs that had petitioned the IMF board regarding expenditure cuts in the education sector. How does this resolve by the government come to you?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. The issue is that in the education sector entirely, we were looking at specifically the basic schools, which is so much under-resourced. And then looking at the report, they said the free senior high school has increased the enrollment, but that was not, it was poorly targeted. Yes, because we are all very happy about the free SHS, but we're calling for a review at a point in time because we realize that more resources is being channeled into the senior high school and the basic school is being neglected. So if the report is talking about it, then it is in order. But our main concern was how to resource the basic schools very well, which is the foundation of our education in preparing those children to the senior high school. So we were expecting to see some specific instructions with regard to the IMF fund to be able to source the basic schools very well. So we are not too happy that more money will be channeled to free SHS once more and then not getting something very clear on the basic school. So our concern is the resourcing of the basic school, which is so much challenged across the country, looking at various researches that has been conducted by CSOs.
We're talking about review by government. What do you expect to see if government says it's reviewing its flagship programs, including the free SHS?
Yes, we've seen that it's difficult for the government to fully fund the SHS, making it free entirely. So if there is a review, especially the feeding, which is so much of a challenge, can be looked at. Maybe if parents are made to at least pay for only the feeding of their children, and then some basic things that are not really available or that is not easy for the government to fund entirely, I think that would go a way to take away some burden from the free senior high school, and then some funds can be channeled through the basic schools. And then at least if a child is going to school, the child's basic like uniforms and other things can be purchased by parents, feeding should be paid by parents. And then if the government decides to absorb the whole fees, that is the tuition fees, that is fine. Then to make the whole thing free, and at a point in time, children don't have food to eat. Some of them don't have desks to sit, converting toilets into a sleeping place for students is something that is uncalled for. So if there is the opportunity for the government to review the free SHS, this is what we stand for. You should look at the feeding, at least uniforms. Parents should be able to take care of it until at the very right time when we realize that the government has made enough finances available to make it entirely free.
Benes, I'm grateful for your time. Benes Mprejiche is National Coordinator of GNEC. To other stories, the new Patriotic Party's NSA Awenim has won the Kumi parliamentary by-election with 71% of total vote cast. He polled 15,264 votes to beat closest contender Kwesi Amankwa of the National Democratic Congress, who had 3,723 votes. The two independent candidates in the contest failed to pull surprises. Returning officer Paul Agyemang declared NPP's Enim winner.
21,731. 21,721. 731, sorry. And now, by the power vested in me, Paul Agyemang, as the constituency returning officer for Kumewu, I hereby declare you, Ernest, please come over. Ernest Yao Enim of the NPP as the parliamentary member of parliament elect for Kumewu constituency. Thank you, and the good Lord bless us all.
Mr. Enim in his victory speech promised to work harder to meet the confidence and expectations reposed in him by the electorates. First is his assurance that all roads in the area will be given facelift in the next 14 months.
I have promised the people of Kumawu that the contractor is going to be with us for the next 14 months. He is going to make sure that every road that is in the pipeline from Efijase all the way to Raso is constructed. He is going to work on the Kumawu town roads, which includes Abotanso, Pepiase, and all the surrounding towns within Kumawu. So for us, we know we have said and we are going to deliver. This is not a lie. This is not to win the seat. This is something that the party was committed to doing and the government was committed to doing. We are going to continue to do more in the education sector. We are going to do more in agriculture. We are going to help with the unemployment situation we have in the constituency. There are several other things that we intend doing for our people, and I believe that the people of Kumawu are going to see progress, they are going to see development. Mining now, last rally. Say Nyankopona Bekasa ene edue. Mekane baby so say adwuma yaya ene adwuma MPP party yaya eguso ayeye no. Enkunimdi ane nam kwan mu ba na enkunimdi kese. Na me mpese meto number bi but na me tie makoma mu no menim se nkunimdi kese ana eba ma MPP party Ghana nyina age MPP atum se MPP ne party a ye betime dia call promised land no MPP ne party a omo kan omo ye enne ye kan se ye be Kumawu kwan enne nyina ye ho ye kan se ye beboa asiese Kumawu district hospital enne August ye be bie hospital no ama Kumawu ma ye nya esomfaso MPP at the school feeding program by the free SHS by Ghana for enya somfaso Kumawu enya somfaso we ne nhyehyɛ pa party no ya boa Ghana man ene Kumawu man etina menim sɛ Ghana for be hye na nado animonyam Kumawu ya be hye na nado animonyam ya be hye His Excellency the Vice President animonyam ya hye MPP party animonyam ama na nado ne MPP nyina hunu sɛ enwoma omo ya Kumawu ha enwoma ya Ghana ha Kumawu man yani aso ne yani age sign just breaking the 8 na ye kana possible ye besa breaking 8 no account into 2024 it is where a total a year a just a statement that just the MPP we are ready to break the 8.
How do you
Meanwhile, his main contender from the NDC claims he won the elections. Why? Listen to him.
A very, very sad day for Kumawu politics and Ghana politics, because I'm thinking about the future for the youth, that to sell futures for 50 cities and the MPP party.
Hello, Ernest.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to be careful with my choice of words, because it's very pathetic. It's a very sad day, because people deliberately buying votes, buying people's future for 50 cities. For 12.
A number of the NDC's executives in the constituency whose names were on the polling register to vote are reported to have failed to turn up to cast their votes. Several reasons have been assigned for their poor showing, among which is the fact that some of them were indisposed at the time. To what extent has this affected the fortunes of the candidates in the just ended election, and what could this mean for the party in the constituency and the region at large? Here is Deputy General Secretary of the party on the just ended Kumawu election.
I think that the entire party machinery, the grassroots, the National Executive Committee led by Honorable Johnson Esedun Katia and Honorable Fifi Kote, my boss, actually did well. We put a good fight. Knowing that that is not our stronghold, we've been able to engage the MPP such that they have to move an entire government machinery only to get, if you recall, in 2020, Baswa didn't have the whole government machinery coming down to Kumawu. This year, the whole MPP party machinery was in Kumawu. The whole government machinery was in Kumawu. They actually moved financial resources only to increase 304 votes. For me, I have to commend the rank and file of the NDC for putting up a good fight. As for what the MP has tweeted, I am sure that you saw the response from somebody to that tweet. When we get to those issues, we will cross. But like they say, children learn from their fathers.
Well, the Member of Parliament for South Dai, who made the allegations, has since withdrawn and apologized. On a Twitter post, the lawmaker stated, and I'll read excerpts of that tweet for you. He says, "This is to confirm that at Kumeu, we didn't record 3 or 4 votes, as I earlier on indicated. I apologize for that, but the figures were still too low in places as compared to the great efforts that went in. It means we must all work extra hard as executives and parliamentary candidates if we are to win 2024. Well, the NDC says increasing its votes in Kumeu is a sign of good fortunes in the 2024 elections, but is quick to condemn what it describes as the use of state resources by the NPP for the Kumeu elections. Listen to Deputy General Secretary Mustafa Gbande once again. He spoke on PM Express.
We have increased our votes from 2,000 to about 3,600. Whereas they have moved from 14,900 to only 15,200 and something, which is at a difference of about 295. So the movement of machines, construction machines, to Kumeu, the relocation of government machinery to Kumeu, as against a political party in opposition contested a by-election against a government machinery in whose stronghold we are going for that election, only gave them an increase in votes from what they had in 2020 and now to be 252.
An entomologist with the University of Energy and Natural Resources is raising public awareness about the consumption of African palm weevil larvae known as Akokonu in the Akan language. According to Dr. Jacob Parishuga, the coordinator of the Health Insect Project, the insect is highly nourishing for the body and has the potential to protect the environment because it generates little or no greenhouse gases. The Health Insect Project farm in Sunyai is only about 10 feet square in size, but it holds about 300 rearing beings. JoyNews' Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin was at that farm in Sunyai and has filed this report.
So these beings you are seeing all over here have either the larval or adult stages of the African palm larva, which is traditionally known as Akokonu in the Akan language. So we use very simple agricultural products and sometimes agricultural waste to produce these nutritious edible insects.
Dr. Jacob Anankwari, an entomologist and lecturer at the University of Energy and Natural Resources, says the larvae grow between 21 and 28 days before harvesting.
Once these ones hatch and grow up to 21 to 28 days, they are often ready for the market. So harvesting a few of them. I don't want, some have started weaving cocoons, so I don't want to bother them so much. So you can have a look. If you see a bin like this, it has coconut husks and other, so you see larvae all over. You can see larvae everywhere. I was just harvesting a few of them.
They have a high rate of reproduction, and one bean can harvest between 150 and 180 larvae, weighing around 1 kilogram depending on the size.
So 150 to 180 will be a kilogram depending on the sizes. Because you see, if these ones are much smaller than these ones. Okay, so these are actually ready for the market. This is about the 8th insta stage. So it means these eggs were laid first. Yeah, so each bean has a minimum of 1 kilo. Some have 2 kilos, others have as high as 5 kilograms. And all this depends on the number of adults I have put in each bean. Some have just 3 pairs, others have 2 pairs. But if you have 5 pairs, then you are getting a lot of larvae. Because each female adult can lay as much as 300 eggs. But the thing is, not all the eggs will hatch. And if they all hatch, not all of them will grow into adulthood, because if there is limited food, they may be cannibalism in the beans.
It contains 19 of the 21 essential amino acids, as well as high levels of protein and iron.
They have 19 out of the 21 essential amino acids, and they have superior protein and iron content that I will share with you at a different point in time. So if you come and take a look at this, this is a bin containing, these are 2 bins containing adults that we inoculated 3 weeks ago. And these are the adult stages. They are dead now. And then these are the larvae. These are just 3 weeks old. And you can see them looking healthy, strong, and yummy. So these ones will lay eggs, and the eggs will hatch into young larvae.
The edible insect emits no or very little greenhouse gas. According to Dr. Anankwari, eating them could help with both food insecurity and climate change.
And then whereas the beef has 14 milligrams of calcium, the insect has 88 milligrams. So somebody should tell me why we should not promote the consumption of edible insects. Then again, these insects do not emit greenhouse gases. Only a few groups of insects emit little greenhouse gases. If you compare these to conventional meats like beef, these produce 100 times less greenhouse gases. Okay? And then if you also look at the amount of vegetation you need as the palm larvae, you need little space. Look at this little space that I'm using. And I'm producing several kilos per week.
Currently, 1 kilogram of palm larva costs between 70 and 100 cedis.
We produce and we are not able to meet the quantities that people are purchasing. Because if I tell you the number of people who place orders and the class in society who place orders, you'll be shocked. That is why the prices have gone up to about 70 to 100 Ghana cedis per kilo. And why is it expensive? It's because we are not so many, just a few people are producing.
Dr. Anankwari refuses to share his trade secret, but says that production is simple and cost effective.
So you need a simple redding bin like this, which is relatively cheaper. Okay, this is a bin that you need, and then you need a wire mesh like this, and this is supposed to prevent predators and parasitoids. When I say predators, I mean wall geckos, lizards, rats, and parasitoids are insects that feed on other insects. And then you also need a rope and then a rubber band to hold it in place. And then you need a cloth like this just to cover as I'm doing, so that those insects which can actually penetrate the wire mesh holes will not be able to penetrate that. So you can see that other insects have come to lay their eggs on the cloth. We simply wash this periodically. So without this wire mesh, all these insect eggs would have been inside the bin, and that will contaminate our setup, and that is why we're doing this.
The entomologist says Ghana must push for innovation to encourage the growth of insects in order to help the economy grow and protect the environment.
So we can collaborate with these people, get them on board, train and empower them to produce the black soldier fly, Hermetia illucens larvae, which will augment or replace fish meal in the diets of poultry, fish, and pigs. And I'm sure with that, we'll be able to fully feed our people with the right amount of protein without necessarily importing protein. And that will go a long way in helping the economy, because we will no longer have to spend so much cedi to buy dollars and import meat products.
A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
We're still live on JoyNews Today. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you business.
Hello, welcome to the business segment on JoyNews Today with me, Pius Kojubaka. 16 Tunisian companies are in Ghana to explore business opportunities in the areas of agribusiness, construction, services, and information and communication technology. The presence of these foreign companies is to meet and partner Ghanaian businesses to strike win-win business deals aimed at accelerating the potential of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Speaking to Joy Business at a networking event, General Director of Economic and Trade Cooperation at the Ministry of Trade and Export Development in Tunisia, Leza Bounar, said Tunisia is ready to strengthen trade economic ties with Ghana. Here is more. The 16 Tunisian companies will be engaging 34 Ghanaian businesses in a B2B appointment for both countries to connect and share their respective products and services. Areas of focus will be agribusiness, construction, services and information and communication technology, as well as handicraft. Here is Director General of Economic and Trade Cooperation in Ministry of Trade and Export Development, Leza Bounar, speaking to Joy Business at a networking event.
In Africa, we have to do this, and we have to go more, because we have a lot of opportunity and a huge of opportunity between us. So if the SMEs start to know each other and to make this business trip between all the African countries, I think it will get more opportunities to enhance added value chain between the countries.
Second Vice President of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Stephen Mezan, said this partnership offers great opportunity for Ghanaian businesses to expand and leverage on the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
There's great opportunity, especially that we have had this one. There are numerous that are out there, and we look forward that it becomes fruitful and not just a talk shop. Not just a talk shop as we do all the time, but most importantly, the leaders of our nations to look at these important issues, the things that makes it possible for us to be able to export to other countries. Then again, another thing that we also need to look at is the type of governance that we are facing in Africa.
The exploratory visit was carried out through the support of the delegation of German industry and commerce in Ghana. Now, expect the Ghana cedi to make a significant comeback against the dollar and other major currencies this week. That's the forecast by many research institutions, including GCB Capital, Data Bank Research, and Republic Securities. The cedi gained over 8.6% to the dollar last week. There is more in this report.
The cedi ended last week as the world's top performer after narrowing its year-to-date loss on the retail market to about 7%. Analysts expect the anticipated foreign exchange inflow from the International Monetary Fund deal to show up Ghana's foreign reserves and strengthen the cedi. However, they expressed concern about the decline of Ghana's imports cover by 35% as of April this year. Ghana's balance of payment financing gap throughout the IMF support program is estimated at about $15 billion, with the $3 billion package making up 20% of the total needs. The program envisages additional funding from the World Bank, among others. Therefore, the exchange rate outlook hinges on the time frame for completing the external debt operation and a successful biannual reviews under the program.
Now, commercial banks received the highest number of complaints from customers in the financial sector in 2022. This was captured in the latest complaints management report released by the Bank of Ghana. George Yafe has the rest of the story. All right, so we shall bring you that instead subsequently at Marketplace here on the JoyNews channel. That's it for business for now. I am Pius Kojuba. Kadara will be here at 1 p.m. with the Marketplace. Sports is next.
Ciao, Nabila Abdullah here with sports on JoyNews Today. President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okreku, says the Football League governing body is financially better than he met it when he came into office on October 25, 2019. According to him, his administration has been able to gather lots of resources that they have invested in the game. He also spoke about the upcoming GFA elections, where he says that he's not certain that the elections will come off.
I can tell you on authority that revenues into the Football Association have increased more than before. That tells you that there's increased level of confidence in the governance of football in this country. That tells you that our agenda to operate in a very, very transparent and open manner is being appreciated by the corporate world. And I'm happy that the inflows have grown more than we met. I'm happy that we've gone through 3 times of FIFA auditing, which is key for any football association, especially in our part of the world. Also, the domestic auditing has been successful, and that brings confidence in the football ecosystem, especially in investors. Okay, if you see companies coming to the FA, approaching the FA, speaking with the FA to partner us on our journey, it is because we have done, or we have ticked the boxes right, and we have ticked the right boxes, and we have ensured that we have governed the sport with all the clean plates that one could think about and one could speak about. And I'm happy about this. Yes, inflows have improved, and inflows would improve if we continue this way. To borrow the words of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the evidence of it is on the face of the pink sheet. The evidence of our hard work is on the face of all the support we are offering our clubs.
Elections are coming up, and I also, everyone knows, it's an open secret that you will seek re-election. Are you going to do that or no?
Okay, so first of all, I don't know whether elections is coming up.
You don't know whether elections is coming up this year?
And I've not started to think about elections yet.
Okay.
But I react to the mood of the people. What I will do is to react to exactly the way the people want. I remember 4 years ago, I was asked the same question: Will Kelto Krakow contest for the elections? And my answer has always been, when the time comes, football will speak, and football will speak.
But if the time comes that you're going to seek re-election, which maybe from where I sit as a journalist, I know that it's very likely maybe you seek re-election. I don't know about you. Do you think that you will get another mandate, or the delegate will give you another term?
When the time comes, football will speak. It's not for me to speak. Football will speak, and football speaks, unless you don't know. I remember 3.5 years ago, football spoke, and they spoke very loud and clear. What I know is that I'm blessed to be alive. What I know is that I have the right levels of passion for the sport. What I know is that I appreciate the opportunity that Ghanaians and the football family offered me to serve. This opportunity I will never, never forget, and I don't take it lightly. And I will always thank the people of this country for giving me what I call a lifelong dream to serve football. I think that over 3.5 years, I have served football well.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on my joyonline.com, and also at 2 p.m. when my colleague Nathaniel Ato comes your way with sports today. We appreciate your company. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews Today. Musician King Promise has expressed joy and gratitude in winning the Album of the Year at the just ended VGMAs. According to him, he is thankful his hard work has been recognized.
All the hard work, I put into it, just being recognized, it means a lot because, like I said, I put so many late nights, early mornings, sleepless nights, and just trying to perfect that project. And a project that we wanted to compete globally, from Ghana to the rest of the world. So, to be able to do all of that with the album and actually go on an actual world tour, do all those things, just representing my people, and for us to eventually win the album of the year, it really, it felt good. And it's not like I kind of expected it, I never really expect nothing at the awards. Never. I always go in with a clear mind, you know what I mean? Because everybody in the category, they also deserve to win as well. That's why they're in there. So for that, I'm like, let's go have fun, most important, let's shell it, let's kill the stage, and, whatever happens, happens. But it was a lot of hard work put in there that I was looking for it.
Away from Kim Promise, Ghanaian filmmaker and artist Big Gun has advised the Ghanaian movie industry players to always target the global space when creating content. According to the award-winning filmmaker, industry players must not limit their creativity and take advantage of global platforms like YouTube.
I think all other Ghanaians who are into audiovisuals, into media, should target such platforms. Okay, AMVC is big, but AMVC is not the only platform I've been on. I've been on the likes of Afriyie. I've won awards in Italy and all that with my project. Yes, so I really wish we had a lot of Ghanaians doing same or something close, because sometimes I get on these platforms and I get flown out there, and I realize I'm the only Ghanaian. Yeah, last year it was only me and Pascal who were in the hotel, and honestly speaking, I wish I could have other people that we could do this together with. We could and it to be a nice Ghana boy is actually going global. So I just wish we should look beyond creating content for the Ghanaian. Mostly they go like, oh, we're local content. I don't know why they do that. There's a film. Film is a global word. Movies are global. There's nothing like the Ghanaian standard, the Nigerian standard, and the world standard. Film is film. It's a global village. When you tweet, everybody in the world sees it. So why are we limiting our films when the YouTubes and the rest who put our films on are actually global? Somebody can type your name and type your film, and anybody in the world could see it. So why are we limiting the quality to regions? So I feel we should go the extra mile, keep learning. That's the problem we have here. I think we don't learn. The consistency in learning is the problem. We are good, but we could do better. So let's all do better. And if you are doing it for the money is better when you are global. If you are doing it for the fame is bigger when you are global. So whatever is the reason you are doing the film for, when you are global, is far better.
Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews Today, the small Showbiz news and our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Good afternoon to you, Lady in Red. I'm definitely going to watch The Color Purple. It looks like something that would be
2025.
2025.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be
and
waiting.
the trailer is all
We'll be
already
waiting
out.
for that.
I will. I'm
definitely.
definitely.
We'll be watching the trailer.
Of course.
That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Afriyie. Log on to myjoyonline.com. More of the news there, updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.